What are your thoughts on Henry George's beliefs in a land value tax?
Uh, it's an interesting idea. Of the things I think of as left libertarianism, it's the one I have most respect for because it actually gives a specific argument and proposal. Uh, there are practical problems with it. Uh, that it requires that you succeed in measuring uh, site value as distinct from the value due to things people have done with the land. uh, in a sense, the best argument against it, maybe the best argument against it I know was made before Henry George wrote by an even more famous economist, namely David Ricardo. And Ricardo is responding to Adam Smith's argument for land taxes. Uh, the standard economic argument for a land tax, as you may know, is that the supply of land is in perfectly inelastic supply. That is to say, it's not being produced by people. And so taxing it doesn't reduce the amount of it that's there. And the one problem, the usual problem is that while that is true of land in the sense of surface area of the earth, with the rare exception of landfill when you fill in shallow water or something, uh, it is not true of the useful characteristics of land, whether it's cleared, whether it's fertilized, whether it's got buildings on it and such. Those are deterred by taxes. So you've got to somehow separate out what the land would be worth with no human inputs at all from what it is now worth. But Ricardo had a different argument. What Ricardo said is if the source of income is taxes on land, then land will end up being owned not by the people who are best at using it productively, but the people who have the most political influence at getting the tax rate on their particular land low. So that he made what we would now call a public choice argument, and this was very early in the 19th century. Uh, and that is certainly a real problem because you're going to have some institutions for judging what the site value is in order to set the tax, and those institutions are going to be affected uh, politically like other institutions, and you're therefore going to have a large incentive for people to spend resources making sure that the tax evaluators are their friends. That's one problem. Now, I should say one of my friends and ex-colleagues, Nick Tiedemann, is, I think, a Georgist, or certainly very much interested in those ideas, and he's offered various interesting ideas on the subject. So, uh, if you want it, T. Nicholas Tiedemann, you could probably find him. I think his father was a prominent part of the Georgist movement.